Hey everyone, today I'm happy to show you my favorite free electric piano plugin, the Electric V Rhodes piano by Production Voices. In this case, it's the Electric V LE, the light version. Just because it's the light version doesn't mean it's not an awesome, great sounding electric piano plugin. When I say this plugin is free, I mean it's completely free. It doesn't require anything like Contact Player or the full version of Contact. It runs in Sforzando, I think that's how you say it, which is a free sample engine similar to something like Contact. You can see the plugin here on my screen. Currently I have the full version of Electric V running, but I can guarantee you that the light version LE sounds almost identical to this. For some reason, Sforzando won't let me have the full Electric V and the Electric V LE installed at the same time. So I'm just going to be showing you the full version, but as I said, the light version sounds just as good. Obviously this plugin is based off of the Fender Rhodes Mark V from 1984, but for licensing reasons they can't use the Fender Rhodes name, but I believe it is sampled off of that exact electric piano. Regarding the specs for Electric V LE, here's what it features. 16-bit 44.1K resolution samples converted from 24-bit 96K sampling session. You'll get the full 24-bit 96K sampling session with the full version that I have here. You get 12 trigger velocities per note, 8 true release samples per note. The plugin includes vibrato, tremolo, chorus, auto pan, and auto wah. Comprehensive effects section with reverb, chorus, amp modeling, delay, and more. All of the samples in the LE version are taken from the larger Electric V. Self-contained standalone player, Sforzando, no paid software required to run, and works with all major Mac and PC DAWs. There's some other good electric piano plugins on the market, like Lounge Lizard, which I believe is not sample-based and is spectral modeling, and there's also some great sounding electric piano contact libraries that can compete with Electric V, but in the free space, I don't think anything can compare to how good this is. Right now we're looking at the main page, but if you go into controls, you can see the layout of all of the controls that come with it. By default, here's what Electric V is going to sound like. As you could hear, the auto pan is enabled by default. You can turn that off by bringing the width all the way down to 0, and here's what it sounds like with no additional processing. Thanks to how deeply this library is sampled, you can hear all the nuances, subtleties, and the great sound quality of a true Rhodes Mark V keyboard. Typically, I leave the auto pan on, so I'll bump that back up. You can toggle the different modules on and off in this GUI by clicking right here. The only one that doesn't have that function is the auto pan, where you bring width to 0 to turn it off. Let's try playing around with some of the other controls built into the Electric V player. Let's bring in some vibrato. Gets out of control pretty quickly. You can also change the wave shape. Okay, let's turn vibrato off and mess with the tremolo, or tremolo. And here's the chorus module. The chorus module is definitely usable, but I have a couple favorite third-party plugins I use for my chorus. I'll be showing them off later in the video. I've been leaving auto pan on, as I think it's kind of important in making the electric piano sound the way it does, but I'll turn it off and demo a couple of the other modules without it. I haven't messed with the auto wah much, but you can get some really interesting sounds out of that. Now that we've covered all of the effects modules on the right side of the plugin's GUI, let's go over to the controls on the left. Very simple volume control, tone control, as you turn the tone control down, it removes some of the low end and leaves just the higher tine harmonics. I usually keep that almost all the way up or fully up. Touch response, I believe, is going to change velocity sensitivity if you're playing live on a keyboard. So it's going to require a harder hit to get some of the higher velocity sample layers to activate. Release volume has to do with some of the samples that they've put into this library of the player pulling their hands off of the keys, and that creates a bit of a sound that you can mix in to your liking. And drive is a bit of overdrive. Drive definitely impacts the overall loudness of the electric piano, so you can dial it into your liking, and it might be useful in an instance where you need it to be a bit louder than what you can get out of the volume knob and the volume control in Sforzando. The electric piano they were using was sampled very deeply. There's tons of velocity layers and tons of character. If you want a very mellow, soft sound, you can get that out of Electric V. If you want a really aggressive rock electric piano, you can get that out of Electric V as well. Sforzando has this effects section as well, where you can choose some different effects. In this case, it's just ambience and detune, and some different reverb settings. As I said, I usually do most of this outside of the plugin in my DAW. Very quickly, I'll show you some of the velocity sensitivity of the plugin. I can grab all of this MIDI data I have here and play it back, and just drag this velocity slider up and down, and you can hear how many sample layers there are for different velocities. Now let's hear what Electric V sounds like in the context of a couple short demo tracks I produced. The first demo is more of a soul R&B idea, and the second demo is more of a trap R&B idea. While playing back the demo, I'll put some of my processing effects on Electric V so you can hear what I try to do to the keyboard to get it to work in my productions. First off, I have Chow Tape, the preset I made. Obviously, it's a tape emulation. It adds a bit of grit and character to the sound, as well as a little bit of the imperfections of tape. Then I have OSL, Oblivion Sound Lab Chorus, which I believe is based off of the Juno 60 chorus. And that gives a great wide sound to the electric piano. Okay, that's it for the first idea. Now let's move on to the trap R&B idea. First, I'll play back this demo with all of the processing that I chose to put on the E-piano. Then I'll solo the E-piano and explain to you why I chose the processing that I did. In my opinion, Electric V sounds great in that style of production. First off, we have Chow Tape. I spent some time and made a bunch of my own user presets, and sooner or later I'm going to get this preset pack out. A lot of these presets are perfect for lo-fi music, R&B. Some of the presets are specifically for different instruments like bass, snare, hi-hats, and some are just general use, kind of lo-fi tape sounds. Chow Tape is kind of bringing out the mid-range of the E-piano. You get a little bit of saturation and grittiness as well, which is nice, and a little bit of the imperfections of tape and artifacts. Next in the chain I have OSL Chorus, as I did on the first demo. Here's what the piano sounds like with and without OSL Chorus. OSL Chorus is adding a lot of width to the E-piano sound. It's also adding some nice pitch variation. In my opinion, it sounds a lot better than the stock chorus built into the Electric V. Moving on, we have Output Movement, which is a multi-effect plugin. Output Movement is an absolute powerhouse plugin. If I had to personally use and recommend one multi-effect plugin, it would definitely be this plugin. For this preset, I have the FX and filter, as well as a delay, and they're being modulated by some of these rhythm sources here. The plugin also contains a compressor, reverb, distortion, and EQ. Movement is doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of changing the E-piano sound. The last plugin I have is Audiority Polaris, which is a digital echo and shimmer reverb plugin. I may or may not use it in a production like this. When it works well, it adds a nice upper register of shimmer and harmonics to sounds, and you can also use it as a standard reverb and delay. With all of the other plugins engaged, I will turn Polaris on and off so you can hear the nice shimmer that it's adding, and the little bit of reverb. As a Logic user, there are a bunch of great electric piano sounds built into the program. Even with those, I think Electric V is a must-have. If you work in a DAW outside of Logic, you might not have all of the great choices that we have, and that makes Electric V even more useful. I was so impressed by the LE version, the light version, that I ended up buying the full version for $30. Couldn't hear much of a sound difference, but that might be because I'm not working at the full 96K potential of the samples that are built into Electric V. What impresses me most is the pure, clean sound, as well as the velocity sensitivity. If you have a weighted keyboard, Electric V is going to sound amazing performed live. Not having to use Contact is always a plus. It doesn't require owning any of those plugins or registering them. Electric V LE is free. All you need to do is put some information in on the website, and then you get a download link. While you're there, you can download some of the other free versions of Production Voices libraries. I would recommend it. All of them sound great. Plogue Sforzando is also completely free and works with both PC and Mac. Unfortunately, one of the downsides to Sforzando, at least from what I've seen, is that the GUI isn't resizable. You're not going to be able to make the window any bigger. Not a huge deal because there's not a ton of controls here. The GUI is pretty good. I don't see any issues with it. I haven't encountered any bugs with the GUI or the rest of the plugin. There's not a ton of effects built into it, but as I showed you, you can do all of your processing outside of the plugin. And the fact that Electric V is very simple and very clean sounding allows you to use it in a bunch of different applications and for a bunch of different genres. Even with the full version of Electric V, you don't have a lot of presets. I would actually stay away from a lot of these presets. I think they're a bit too over the top for my own applications. Any processing I'm going to do myself in my channel strip. The plugin is extremely lightweight. Electric V LE, I believe, is 350 megabytes, and the full version of Electric V is maybe 1.5 gigabytes, around there. As I said, there's not a huge difference in terms of sound quality. You just get some more velocity layers, and you get a higher sampling rate with the full version. In terms of what could be improved with this plugin, I don't really see there being anything. It says it's an electric piano, sampled off of the Fender Rhodes Mark V. It's exactly that. It sounds phenomenal. All of the effects modules built into the plugin are perfectly usable. The chorus isn't my favorite, but it works. I leave the auto pan on. I think it sounds good. Ease of use, it's extremely easy to use. As I said, you barely have to do any tweaking. The sound quality of Electric V, near perfect. It's on par with and even outperforms some paid contact libraries that I have, like the Purgatory Creek electric pianos, the Native Instruments electric pianos, and in my opinion, it's as good as, if not better than, a lot of the stock electric pianos built into Logic. In terms of overall usefulness, it serves one purpose, and it does it very well. Price to performance is perfect, once again. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and definitely consider picking up Electric V. If you really like the plugin like I did, pay for the full version, support the developer. They make great products. Also consider picking up Chow Tape and OSL Chorus. Both of these plugins are free as well, and they pair perfectly with Electric V. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you got something out of it, consider liking and subscribing. I'll try to keep making and releasing videos as quickly as I can. If you have any particular requests of something I should look at or review, please let me know. And once again, thanks for watching.